now that Infinite's out, let's see if we can even join a game. It took long before. I'm not worried. Uh-oh. This might be a problem. Yo, it's Brittany. We freed her. We did it, boys. It's Brittany. She's coming for me. I tried to free you, Brittany. I'm sorry that I was a few years late. So I'm gonna be honest here. Usually when I come up with video ideas, I have like a notepad on my phone where I just write down a bunch of topics that I think I could make videos out of. I'll be honest, some of them in there are pretty garbage. I'm probably never gonna make a lot of them. Oh, on my life. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. I was gonna originally start uploading videos on this channel, like these gameplay cut commentaries, back in like January, and then I just forgot. Whoopsies. So at 6 in the morning, I'm laying in bed and I'm like, oh, I have to make an entire video on this topic and I have no idea what I'm gonna talk about. So this is just a really long-winded way of saying I didn't come up with much stuff to talk about. So yeah, school assemblies, do you remember those? I barely do, it's been so long. So my school really wanted to push the agenda that they were anti-bully. Even back in elementary school, they started this whole campaign. The slogan was, be a buddy and not a bully. And you know, they really like to make it seem like they were anti-bully. Unless bullying was actually happening right in front of them, then they didn't give a shit. But throughout my entire academic career, we had so many anti-bullying assemblies. The main one that I remember that I still I just can't get over the fact that this was a thing that they thought that high schoolers would be interested in. There was some guy who came to our school at some point. Get the fuck out of my base, you little bitch. I think it was 11th grade. This guy came into our school. I'm sure he had the best intentions. I don't blame him. This guy's walking around like a freaking church youth pastor, trying to get everyone to join into his chants. And he's walking around screaming, we want respect. And you know, for as awful and cringy as it was, and it made me want to die when I was experiencing it, it's stuck in my head. It's been about 5, 6, 7 years since that happened, and I still remember it. Also, when he was chanting it, there's this kid in my class named Nick who joined in. He was the only person that joined in on the chant, I guess it was. He was the only person to join in, and they did not stop. Just imagine you're given an assembly to an entire group of 14 to 16-year-olds trying to get them to join in on a chant, and not a single one does for at least 15 whole seconds of you trying it. How would you recover? I wonder what that man's doing today. I wonder if he lays awake at night thinking about that. I would. Another one that I remember was at the movie theater for some reason, like at the local movie theater. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what it was about. Like, I remember going there. I remember coming home on the bus with a booklet about puberty, and this was like 7th grade, so that makes sense. But also I remember we learned about drunk driving, because on the big screen at the movie theater they played real car accidents that people died in. I remember one very clearly. They also showed, again on a movie theater screen, a body in the aftermath of a drunk driving accident. We're in 7th grade. Also, this is the part that confused me the most, and still I don't know what the purpose was. We went to a building nearby the movie theater, like across the street, and there were these two girls, like, and I don't know what this had to do with the rest of the assembly, or if this was even a part of it. These two girls taught us how to do the chicken dance. I don't know what that had to do with the rest of the assembly. It was a weird day. We go from learning about drunk driving to puberty to doing the chicken dance. All around just a weird day. What was the moral I was supposed to learn from that assembly? Don't drink and drive while you're going through puberty, or else you're a chicken. The next one I remember very clearly, I talked about in a video before. It was like School Stories Part 1, like 5 years ago almost at this point. So I went back and rewatched that video. Let me just say, why did nobody tell me that I talked like that? Listen, I'm still pretty self-conscious about my voice. Add it to the list. There's a lot of shit I'm self-conscious about. There's a lot of stuff I hate about myself. But why did nobody tell me that I was talking like that? If you guys can believe it, I actually went to school. Not only that, I graduated. Barely. If I ever start commentating my videos like this again, put me down. But in that video, I talked about those fucking concerts that my school made me do in elementary school every year. Literally nobody enjoyed them. I don't know why we kept doing them. Like, did they want to torture the students participating, the students listening, the parents listening? Who benefited from it? Nobody won. Also, those don't really count as assemblies, but I don't care. So the next part's gonna be pretty dark. I'm sorry, but it was a thing that happened that my school made me sit through. They made us go to the high school, go to the auditorium, and I don't know if anyone else in the world experienced something like this. It's called Rachel's Challenge, and it's about the Columbine victim, Rachel. Like, we're in 8th grade and they're showing us like news footage, 911 calls, and all this shit from the worst school shooting in America at the time. And guess what? It was a fucking anti-bullying assembly. Don't bully people or you'll get your school shot up. That was the takeaway. Like, this guy came in who was friends with the family of Rachel. It was so confusing. It was basically like an anti-bullying thing and also like be kind to people. They made us sit through news footage of a school shooting to teach us be nice to people. Listen, I'm sure a lot of people learned some great morals from sitting through Rachel's Challenge, but for me it was just so confusing and out of left field. They didn't give us any warning that there was gonna be an assembly, especially not about a fucking school shooting. Anyway, the last assembly that I could really remember is by far the most confusing because even during it, I had no goddamn idea what it was about. And even now, I think, if I had to guess, I think it was about drugs, like an anti-drug PSA. I could be entirely wrong, but goddamn, it was so confusing. They had one of my teachers with one leg dress up as MC Hammer and dance to Can't Touch This. What the hell is the takeaway supposed to be? That's really all I remember from the entire assembly. A bunch of my teachers got dressed up like celebrities from the 70s and 80s and danced on the stage in the auditorium. Like, I don't know what the takeaway was supposed to be. I think the principal also dressed up. It was a fever dream, dude. I don't know what the hell was going on. Someone dressed up as Elvis. There was a lot going on. I think it was an anti-drug PSA. I mean, in all fairness, it very easily could have just been another fucking anti-bullying assembly. So what's the moral here? What's the takeaway from watching your teachers, principals, superintendents, every adult in a school that's legally allowed to be there, dressed up as a celebrity from 40 to 50 years ago and dance around on a stage? What's the lesson we learn? Yeah, I have no idea either.